Everyone keeps talking about resilience, but what is it actually, and why should it be relevant for yourself, for your team, and your organization? In today's post, I would like to shed some more scientific light into this term, which has become kind of a buzzword but still holds a lot of potential in times of relentless change. The term resilience originally comes from physics and means to bounce back. This happens when a solid body temporarily changes its shapes on impact and then returns to its old form, just as this tennis ball does. In the past 2 decades, the term resilience has established itself as a kind of a generic term in various scientific disciplines. After psychology and education, also in sociology, engineering, ecology, and economics. Across disciplines, the term describes the tolerance of a system to disturbances. As you will see, there is no real agreement on a single definition. Then for some researchers, resilience is about getting back to the starting form after setback, and for many others, it is about thriving and flourishing despite or precisely because of a crisis. In the work context, it is important to distinguish at least 3 different forms of resilience: personal resilience, team resilience, and organizational resilience. They are all interconnected, but none of them does really predict the resilience levels of the others. But let's start from the beginning. It all began with a pretty crazy research project by the developmental psychologist Amy Werner. She studied more than 600 babies from different ethnic backgrounds who grew up under very difficult conditions in the Hawaiian island of Kauai. Starting in 1955, she studied them as babies as well as at the ages of 1, 2, 10, 18, 32, and 40 years old. Yes, indeed, she studied their development for over 40 years. Interesting is that by the age of 10, the majority of these children already had serious problems themselves, such as drug abuse or criminal behavior. A third of them, however, developed very well. Werner called them vulnerable but invincible, and discovered buffering elements which helped them to stay strong, these so-called protective factors. Such protective factors were, for example, emotional support outside the family, like from a neighbor or a priest, self-efficacy, the conviction that one can shape one's own destiny, and a high degree of autonomy, a positive, optimistic attitude, and the ability to solve problems. Many more studies followed, and more valuable insights for empowering people in difficult situations came to light. Resilience can be seen as an umbrella construct, a broad concept used loosely to encompass and account for a set of diverse phenomena. There are numerous sub-concepts and connections with other theories and constructs, but all of them have positive correlations with the expression of quality of life, resistance, optimism, and self-efficacy. Other researchers focused on the study of resilience in the work context and identified a clear link between individual resilience, systemic and team dynamic processes at the workplace. Team resilience describes the ability of teams to quickly adapt to changing requirements and recover from crises, focusing strongly on interaction patterns. In summary, the following 3 facets characterize team resilience: recognizing and sharing change in requirements, constructive handling of errors and review of collaboration, and responding flexibly to unexpected problems by adapting resources. On the other hand, a huge amount of research has focused on the study of organizational reactions after critical events, such as accidents, terrorist attacks, or natural disasters. This gave rise to the concept of organizational resilience, which does not necessarily represent a bounce back to normal. Yes, not just back to normal, but a process of learning, collaborating, and developing innovation to embrace change and overcome this sticking to the status quo. Organizational resilience has been defined by the International Organization for Standardization as the ability of an organization to absorb and adapt in a changing environment to enable it to deliver its objectives, to survive and prosper. Resilient organizations can anticipate and respond to threats and opportunities and are able to effectively manage risk and change. In this graphic, I collected the main traits and improvement levers defined by the ISO, but this is still work in process. I'm just developing a psychometrical online test to determine the level of organizational resilience in project teams. So if you are interested in trying out our beta version, please get in touch. The usability test phase is just about to start soon. Last but not least, I would like to briefly touch on an important topic, the connection, or better the confusion, between the concepts of resilience and agility. The attributes of agility, flexibility, and adaptability are often associated with resilience, and they can contribute to the building of resilience in organizations. However, none of these attributes is sufficient by itself to generate organizational resilience. While agility provides us with frameworks, methods, and practices for multidisciplinary, iterative, and incremental adaptation, organizational resilience can make a significant contribution to improving the way we deal with relentless change, some of which can be very stressful and resource-consuming, so that we can emerge stronger from micro and macro crises. The final piece of this puzzle is provided by positive psychology. Studies of crises and disruptions have long focused only on the negative. However, the tendency to focus on failure generated only more of the same, so it does not really help for the creation of new solutions and rather pushes towards avoidance or downward spirals. This had led to a counter-trend: positive psychology at the individual level and positive organizational scholarship at the organizational and team levels. They all deliver clear approaches to unleashing the positive power of organizations, team, and employees, developing culture and building on strengths. But more on this topic maybe in the next post in case you're interested. So now you know what resilience is and what it isn't. In the next few weeks, we will start sharing some approaches on how to strengthen your personal, team, and organizational resilience. So stay tuned and share your questions in the comment section below.